Welcome to chapter 7 of the book of Ezekiel. The end has come. Now, what end is he talking about here? I see two ends, and we'll go through it here. The Logos, again, the word of the Lord came to me, and that would be Ezekiel, saying, And you, O son of Anthropu, man, thus says Adonai Kyrios, Kyrios, in other places it's used. Adonai is the Lord, capital L, small O-R-D, or master, the Lord, to the land of Israel. So to me, it's definitely right now, it's what its information is going to give has to do with Israel. Now, the time, it says, end is come. The end is come upon the four wings of the land. Now, it could be the end is come at that time of Jerusalem with Nebuchadnezzar, or it could be another time of an end of the future of that time, which could have been the Romans or the beast. The end is come now, the end to you, and I shall send my rage. I am against you, and I shall punish you in your Odis ways, an odometer, and I shall impute against you all your abominations. Generally, when he's talking about abominations, he's talking about idols. But the idols of Israel ceased after their return with Ezra and Nehemiah, the idolatrous practices. But yet, I look at wondering what God it looks and what kind of abominations they're still doing, and what abominations we as Christians are doing, and what abominations the world is doing, and how God looks at all of this. And he says, my eye will not spare. Ophthalmology. Got to go to an eye doctor tomorrow. So his optometrist, but it comes from that word. My eye will not spare over you, nor shall I show mercy. So here, it's pretty much God's destruction in not showing mercy, but yet with Christ, his arrival, he does show us mercy and favor, grace, and a redemption of bringing us, redeeming us from the clutches of Satan into being free to be with him in paradise. So it's here, but here it's pretty much a terminal situation. For I shall impute your way against you, and your abominations will be in the midst of you, which if it was the idols, which I believe he's talking about here, then they're going to be there at the end, and they will be among them when they're destroyed. And you shall know that I am the Lord. For thus says Adonai Kyrios, Kakia, we have kaka, something bad, an evil. One kakia, one evil. Behold, it's at hand. The end is come. The end is come, awakened against you. So this end is probably, as I see at the time, that Nebuchadnezzar is coming, and time of Ezekiel is telling this to the people that are still left in Jerusalem before the final end for Jerusalem at that time. Behold, the wreathen circle is come upon you, the one dwelling in the land. Now, the ploki, a wreath, and it's something that's twined together. The wreathen, they put the ploki on Jesus' head. It was a crown of thorns, a ploki, a wreathen crown. It was all woven together. But it has other possibilities in the dictionary. It's also, it can be a trick or a fraud, which is woven together. And another one is called a prevarication, which I had, what is that? I looked it up, and it's a false boast that can hurt others. You can boast to hurt others, but I think that's what it is here. but it's come upon you. Your false boast, instead of hurting others, it's hurting you, the one dwelling in the land. The time has come. The day has approached. Not with tumult, nor with pangs. Now, exactly why it says that here is strange, because Jerusalem was being destroyed by the armies, and I don't know. Is that something he's talking about in the future? The ending of this Israel? I don't know. Now, nearly, I will pour out my anger upon you. It's closely going to happen, and I will complete my rage against you. And here, the completing his rage, I don't see it, because in the book of Revelation it has his rage is still being poured out. I will judge you in your ways, and I will impute against you all your abominations. So all the things that they're doing, they may still be doing, and what we're doing. My eye shall not spare, nor shall I show mercy. According to your ways I will impute against you, and your abominations will be in the midst of you. So, if you have rejected Jesus Christ, which the Jews have, I call them the progeny of the crucifiers today, the rejection of Jesus Christ is so blatant, they would crucify him again, I'm sure. And the imputing against them, and it's still, these abominations, it's still in their midst. And it says, then you shall realize that I am the Lord, the one striking. Now, unfortunately, God has to strike for the people to understand that he is the Lord. So it's a terrible way to find out. Too bad people don't read the Bible. And I know people that know the Bible, but they don't want anything to do with it, ridicule it, and so forth. It's not anything except this book of myths. So far, that's what they say. Behold, the day of the Lord is come. So now we have more of a specific time. Before I was mentioning about different times. Now it's the day of the Lord is come. The rod has bloomed. It's taken place. And the rod of Aaron, I remember it bloomed to show that that God was in control, and Aaron, his rod was blooming, was to show the people that the Levites were the chosen of God. The insolence has risen up, and it will break the reliance of the lawless ones, and not with a tumult, nor with anxiety. There it is again. Insolence has risen up. It will break the reliance of the lawless one, and not with a tumult, nor with anxiety. Could possibly be here the beast that it's talking about, that he will come in by stealth, take over, and destroy. The time has come again. Behold, the day. Let not the one acquiring things rejoice, and let not the one selling things wail, for there is wrath for all the magnitude of it. Now, in Revelations 18:11, it talks about the end of the buying and the selling, having to do with the harlot city, which I believe is Jerusalem. And here it's talking about the magnitude of it all. So, to me, is more than just possibly the time of Ezekiel. For the one acquiring shall not return to the one selling. I had thing, but I changed it to the one selling. And while still in the life of their living. For the vision is for all their multitude. Again, all the multitude, something that is more than just, to me, is just the one instance. I'm not sure. And it shall not return. And a man in the eyes shall not behold his life. Then it goes in, it's trump with the trumpet and judge all things. Now, of course, we know in the book of Revelations, in chapter 8:2, it talks about the trumpet, the 7 trumpets, the angels. But there is not one going to the war. But here, this might not have anything to do with that. Trump with the trumpet, that is, and judge all things, get ready to go. But there is not one going to war. For my wrath is upon all her multitude. Well, now who is her? So his wrath is upon all her multitude. To me, it's more than just the people at that time. And so now her would be a feminine. Now this is masculine. The one acquiring should not return to the one selling, and that's neuter. Yet in the life of the living, vision is for all the multitude. I'm just looking for something in the feminine, but I don't see it right here. So sometimes you have to go way back to find them, and sometimes they're not there. Is upon all her multitude. The broadsword from outside, and the famine and the plague from inside. That reminded me of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and the reddish fiery horse had the broadsword, and the pale horse had Thanatos, which is right here, plague. The broadsword from outside, and the famine and the plague from inside. The one in the plain shall come to an end by broadsword, and the ones in the city shall end by plague and famine. And the ones escaping from out of them shall be escaped, and will be upon the mountains as a pigeon meditating. There are not going to be very many. They're going to be looking at the destruction. Could be at the end. And I will kill all, each in his iniquities. Now, that could be in the end times too. All hands, again all, shall be enfeebled, and again all thighs shall be tainted in wetness, and that's from urinating on oneself because they're scared, shocked, whatever. They're going to be enfeebled. They won't be able to do anything about the things that God has when he pours his wrath out. I don't want to be here. And they shall gird on, sackcloth and stupefaction shall cover them. They're not going to be in comfort, and they won't know what to do about it. And upon every, and now this calypse, cover, the apocalypse, the apocalypse is to uncover, apo is from, to cover from apocalypse. And upon every face, shame will be upon them, and upon every head, baldness. And this is the baldness has to do with sorrow, lamenting over death or something bad. Their argyrion, we have the Argentina word comes from that. Their silver shall be tossed in the squares, and their gold shall be spurned. And that's again in Revelation about the gold and the silver not being worth anything. Their silver and their gold shall not be to rescue them in a day of wrath of the Lord. So material goods aren't going to do a whole lot of good in the day of the wrath of the Lord. You're not going to be able to buy your way out. Now I remember this one movie I saw. Not sure if it was true or it was just a movie. It was like a novel, but it was about the Jews escaping Germany or another. It was another country, and the I think it was Russian, and they got all the Jews to get out, to buy their freedom, to go on this boat to get out of the country. And they all came down there with all their gold and all their silver, and then the Nazis or whoever it was killed them all and took the gold. It didn't help them in that day, and neither will it gold help in the future, the day of wrath. Well, now that thing is not working there again. Wonder why not. Well, maybe that's the end of that chapter, I think. No, Their souls in no way shall be satisfied, and their bellies shall not be filled, for the torment of their iniquities took place. So it's going to be a terrible time, hunger, famine, all sorts of terrible things. The book of Revelation talks about this, and the Jews have certainly experienced a lot of these horrors over the centuries. For the torment of their iniquities took place. Now, he's putting the blame on those people and not trying to blame something else. Not blaming God or not blaming Christians or blaming others, but it's their own fault, and that's the way it is. Eklekta, elect. It comes from that word. Cosmu. We have the cosmos. It's an ornament in the Greek, a round ornament, and the cosmos was considered a round entity of the heavens, a choice ornament for pride. They made them the images of their abominations. There it is in the iconos, images. Now we have the icon of the beast mentioned in the book of Revelation, that people will bow down to the icon, do obeisance to the icon of the beast. But here are the images of their idols they made from out of them, the gold and the silver. Because of this I have given them to them for uncleanness. And to the enemy, I suppose he's talking about, I've given those people to the enemy. I'm not sure. Them, this is in the genitive, and this is not. But I will deliver them into the hands of strangers to tear them in pieces, and to the pestilent ones of the earth for spoils, and they shall profane them, the people that are taken captive whenever this occurs in the future at the time of Ezekiel. And I will turn my face from them, and they shall defile my overseeing. Episcopine. Jesus came as an episcopos, an overseer, his overseeing, and he will come again, but they shall defile my overseeing, and he's going to turn his face from them, and they shall enter to them unguardedly. Now, I think he's talking about the enemies here coming in without even knowing that they are taking over, and profane them to those people, either at the time, Jews at the time of Ezekiel, or as I see it, possibly in the future. And they shall produce befiling, going to the potty. This is basically what it's talking about. For the land is full of judgments of blood, which all the blood being killed out, and the blood and befiling, all these things that make a person impure, and the city full of lawlessness, and there is the spiritual befiling. And I will bring evils of nations, and they shall inherit their houses. Well, here see, ethnon, nations. Before it was just the army of the Chaldeans that came down. Yeah, there may have been some other people with it, but here it sure sounds like a different experience. Evils of nations in the future with the beast. And they shall inherit their houses, and Israel will be taken over. And I will turn the neighing of their strength, and their holy things shall be defiled. I believe they'll have built a temple again. Their army will have defeated the Muslim forces, which we see in the book of Ezekiel here, towards the end, the 38th, 39th chapter. We'll go through that. Making an atonement shall come, and one shall seek peace, and it will not be. Making an atonement shall come. Now, Jesus came as the atonement, the only atonement that I know. The only other one was Moses. But an atonement shall come, and one shall seek peace, and it will not be. Now, his atonement was basically ignored by most of the Jews. There was quite a few that did become believers in Jesus Christ and became called Christians, and they left Judaism. Woe, oive is a Hebrew, upon oive, woe upon woe will be and message upon message will be. Angalia, remember I mentioned in other places with the alpha, gamma, gamma, whenever you see that, it has generally something to do with a message or a messenger. Angel comes from that. Woe upon woe and message upon message will be. The word of God will be out, people will hear. And a vision shall be sought from out of a prophet. Prophetu. And the law shall be lost from out of the priest, and counsel from out of the elders. The king shall mourn. Well, the king died, and after this period of time, the law was lost, and the priests, the people developed the oral tradition, the oral law, which almost superseded the written law to a lot of Jews. They study the oral law and not the written law. And the ruler shall put on extinction, and the hands of the people of the land shall be disabled. According to their ways I will do to them, and in their judgments I will punish them, judgment against them. And they shall know that I am the Lord. So, a horrible way to find out. A lot of people will find out about the judgment when they stand in front of the judge. They'll be punished with sent out, not having Jesus to cover their sins and to have that redeem them from the grasp of Satan and the ring of the lake of fire. But then they're going to know that I am the Lord. But it's going to be a horrible time to find out when it's really too late, when nothing but everlasting punishment is set before a person. And it's best to change earlier. The next chapter, chapter 8, we'll go into the second vision, which I mentioned in the introduction. It has to do with the Spirit of God and the movement of it. And to find out more about that, I hope you'll join us, chapter 8, and God bless.